That is hugely helpful. And then digging into that just a tiny bit more before we move on to the OPCs themselves, you can see that list here is really all of the other ancillary programming that supports the OPCs. And these are some pictures of what the sites in New York look like. So you can see that they're bright, they're big, they're dignified spaces where people who use drugs will want to hang out. So optics are very important when we do this work. We don't want the sites to look like people would expect them to look. If it looks like a shooting gallery, that's the kind of reception that we're going to get from law enforcement, emergency services, and other stakeholders in the neighborhood. If it looks like a well-run, clean, organized, and dignified space, then we're suddenly more welcome as a legitimate member of the larger community. I want to point out here too, before we move on, volunteers and jobs, you'll see that 40 plus there. What that means is that we really believe that one of the best things we can do for the neighborhood is create work for people in the neighborhood. So local jobs for local people. We are an income generator. We are providing jobs for people that need them. And we're also hiring into full-time salaried positions with medical benefits, people who use drugs directly from the OPCs and other programs. So really interrupting the cycle of addiction with other opportunities that are all coming out of the program itself. So this idea of closed loop service provision. Yes, we want to deal with your immediate risk of loss of life because of your addiction. We're going to do some of that overdose prevention work, but we're also going to help you achieve some of the other goals that you want for yourself, like a job or reunification with family or stabilizing your mental health, these kinds of things. I'm going quickly because I know that I think I've got about 20 minutes, and then I want you to ask questions if you have any. So for the OPCs themselves, a couple things just so we're all talking about the same thing. You can use any substance you want in any quantity you want via any mode of administration. So we're not policing substance or quantity of substance. And that's a unique feature of our OPCs in New York. We don't provide the drugs, just want to make sure we're all clear on that. That's not the area of the industry that we're in, although On Point and many of the harm reduction organizations across the United States are advocating for something called safe supply. So this would be prescription grade alternatives that limit people's need to rely on the heavily adulterated and toxic drug supply in the United States. Really bringing them into the medical system via their use, as opposed to continuing to kind of build the wall between their substance use and engagement with medical care. There we go. So just a couple pictures. This is the site in Washington Heights, if you haven't seen it. This is our consumer-led site. What that means is everyone working on the team in Washington Heights also uses the facility as well. So this is the peer or consumer-led model. Here's the site in Harlem. This is what would be referred to as the medical model. Everyone working on this team has some level of medical training or adjacent experience. Some are phlebotomists, certified medical assistants, former EMTs, and nurses. This program is a high volume inhalation program. So on the bottom two squares of your screen, you can see an example of the inhalation room that can hold up to 6 smokers at a time. And then this site has 8 booths. Since we launched in November 2021, we've registered over 5,000 people, 5,500 people to both sites. Harlem is the larger cohort by far, with over 4,000 people registered to that program. The sites have been used, this data is a little bit old, it's about a month and a half old, but they've been used over 160,000 times. So that's 160,000 instances of public drug use that have been picked up out of the public sphere and put down somewhere safe, private, and dignified, with immediate connection into other care should that be of interest to people.